This is the next part of the incredible prophetic symbolism found all through chapter 38 of Genesis. And it is a doozy. Let's look at the last two verses in this chapter and the meanings of the names of the twins, sons of Judah and Tamar. This verse says, "And it came to pass as he drew back his hand that behold his brother came out. And she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Perez," but you need to see this in the Hebrew. Here's the name Perez, but it's actually pronounced Perez. And we see it here, and we see it there, and we see it at the top, just different forms of them, but they all mean the same thing. The same word is used 3 times in this verse. That means pay attention. And the root of those words is to break through. There is a prophecy by Micah of Jesus using the same word. The one who breaks open is Perez in Hebrew. The breaker is come up before them. They have broken up and have passed through the gate and are gone out by it. And their king shall pass before them and the Lord on the head of them. So this is the prophecy of the breaker who has broken through the gates of a prison and is leading his people out. The breaker is, by confession of the Jews, the title of the Messiah who would save them from captivity. It was a picture of deliverance. Here's another prophetic scripture with the same concept. This is the same scripture that Jesus quotes about himself in Luke. Isaiah writes, "He has sent me, among other things, for the opening of the prison to them that are bound." If we look at that word opening, what's being opened? Eyes. But really, it's figurative of being freed from a dark prison. It denotes that he would rescue those that were confined in darkness by sin. Their deliverance would be as wonderful as if a prisoner was suddenly released from a dark cell and be permitted to go forth and breathe the air of freedom. So the breaker opens spiritual eyes that have been blinded by the god of this world, and the breaker opens spiritual prison doors that have enslaved us to sin by the snares of Satan. Jesus said, "I am the way." Because he is our Perez. He has broken through out of the dark womb for us, out of the darkness into his marvelous light. The next verse reads, "And afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand." So the first baby came out, and then the second baby came out. The second baby followed the first baby, and his name was called Zarah. There are many instances in the 4 Gospels of Jesus telling people to follow him. Even when Jesus talks about himself as the Good Shepherd, he says, "He goeth before them, and the sheep follow." Here is another picture of this in Acts 12. When the angel came to Peter's cell, he said, "Follow me." And he led Peter right past the sleeping guards and out past the gate, which opened by itself. This incident is an amazing story, but it's also spiritual in that we follow out for our deliverance. Thus, Jesus has gone before us as the breaker, and we follow him, breaking in his strength gates of spiritual prison, yokes and fetters that bind us, all allegiances to former lords, and out of spiritual blindness. Here is the name Zarah in Hebrew, and its meaning is a dawning, shining, a rising of light, to shoot forth beams, and to rise as the sun. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." Those who follow Christ do not only have a lamp unto their feet, but we possess that light ourselves. The light of the world abides in us. So we are Zarah, rising and shining with his light. This is why Jesus told us that we are the light of the world. So we follow our breaker Jesus out of spiritual imprisonment into freedom, of darkness into light, and we come forth shining with the glory of God and rising like the sun. And there's more, which I will share with you in the next video.